My name's Timoth Mmbaga. I'm working with the Agricultural Council of Tanzania as the Executive Director of the Council. The Agricultural Council of Tanzania was established in 1999. Our major mandate is to was established in 1999 for the purpose of putting together different institutions in the private sector to have the common voice on the issue related to agribusiness, especially to advocate for the good agribusiness environment, that is to have the good policies in the ground, which is like an incentive in the production in agriculture, livestock and fisheries. So we find ourselves that it is important that we come together as a different institution. Remember that the members of ACTs are not individuals. The members of ACTs are different institutions and associations. So we find that it is very important for us to come together and to have the common organ, which is the Agricultural Council of Tanzania, to have the common voice toward the policies which are not conducive for the business environment in Tanzania. So that's why we established the Agricultural Council of Tanzania in 1999, and we have done a lot of things out of that. We are cooperating, we are working together with the government, we are collaborating them in formulation of different agricultural policies and livestock and fisheries. So we are in the forefront to make sure that the agriculture is moving in the right directions, and make sure that the agriculture is attracting the private sector to invest. That's the meaning of having the Agricultural Council of Tanzania. The COVID-19, though the Tanzania was not locked, but the effect, we could not avoid the effect of COVID-19. Because, our almost all the neighboring countries were locked. And what we are producing in Tanzania, in almost 50% to 80%, we depend the market from our neighboring countries. So we find ourselves having the produce, but nobody come to buy. So we find ourselves consuming the rice in our markets, and our market were flooded with the rices, and then the price went down. And not only the rice, I'm talking about the rice, but also maize and the like. So that was the effect of which then it forces the price to go down to extent that it affected farmer could not even return the money that they spend in production. Input prices went up. The price of fertilizer doubled. The price of herbicides, the seeds, not only the prices, but also the availabilities. It was very hard to get the fertilizers, you see, in times and the like. Even the suppliers of fertilizers, especially these agents, they were even afraid of buying the fertilizer to take them to the farmers, because they say that, no, these prices are very, very high in such a way that I don't think if the farmer can afford. So they find themselves, they are not even buying the fertilizer from the wholesalers, because we did some small research and asked them, why are you not buying the fertilizer and supply to the farmers? They said, no, the price is very high, the farmer cannot afford. So we find even the farmer who were able to buy the fertilizer, they couldn't get the fertilizer because of the supplies chains were disrupted. So that is another effect that we saw direct to the farmers. That the prices of the fertilizer, that is part of the crop. But if you go to the livestock, the same. All the inputs, especially vaccines, that we do import the vaccine from outside the countries. We are not producing the vaccines in Tanzania. If we are producing the very little kind of and the very few types of vaccine that we are producing, but most of the vaccines are imported from. Because of the hindrance of the movements, especially the flight movements, the vaccines were not even available in the countries. So that is another area that we were badly hit by the pandemic. So that is the area where we can say that but also if you look at even the movements of the traders, the movement of the laborers, you see, were also affected because of the pandemic. So that's the areas of which we find ourselves that that's the effect that we got from the COVID-19. Yeah. Yeah, currently the state of trading across the border among the East African country, I can say from our perspective, from a cultural sector point of perspective, is that we see that the trading is going well, but we still have NTBs, non-tariff barriers, so we need to improve further to let our people trading freely. So Tanzanians products has to go across the border to Kenya, to Uganda, to Rwanda freely without any non-tariff barriers, NTBs. NTBs is still a problem among ourselves, so I think the member state has to sit down and see on how they can solve this because it is bringing us it is let us down, especially farmers and traders in East Africa. So we need these commodities. We don't need to import the commodity outside the country, outside our regions. For example, Tanzania is producing enough rice to feed all the regions, but you find because of NTBs, Kenyans or Ugandans cannot get the rice from Tanzania at the room temperatures. They have to struggle to get this. Otherwise, we are importing Kenya is importing some rice from other Asian countries, which is not good. They are supposed to take them from Tanzania. So we need to remove these non-tariff barriers among our member states. The Tanzania also have to import, the Kenyans are producing, for example, the chicks. Tanzanians, we don't have enough facilities to produce the chicks. So right now we have a scarcity of, the consumers are crying for the high prices because the scarcity of the chicks for the production of chicken in the countries. So but the Kenyans, they can't do that. They have that capacity to supply the chicks to Tanzanians. But because of non-tariff barriers, you find it is very difficult for the Kenyans chicks to get into Tanzanians markets. So we need to remove these non-tariff barriers so that our people, they can trade free. Tanzania, they can produce maize and rice and other produce, and the Kenyans, they can produce the industrial products they can take back to Tanzania. So that is the way we can do, and we can sustain our region for supply of different. So our argument is that we should remove these non-tariff barriers as soon as possible to make the trade smooth operating in our regions. When we are looking at how we can support the horticultural, also the horticultural suffer the same thing, the non-tariff barriers. For example, transporting the horticultural product from Tanzania to Kenya. The Kenya, they have the facilities, they have the good airports, and the cold chain supplies is well equipped. So Tanzania, normally we would prefer to use that facilities, but sometimes because of non-tariff barriers, it becomes very difficult. Issues of physical policies, taxes and tariffs which are not necessary in the horticultural industry should be removed so that our people, they can produce at a profit. So that is the area that we think we need to look at as a country, so that we can move forward. But otherwise, the East Africa has all the potentials. If you look at the agricultural potential is in Uganda, you look at the agricultural potential in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Burundi, and now the Congo is getting in. So you can find that this is a very rich regions of which we can, if we remove these non-tariff barriers and these small things, this unconducive business environment, we find ourselves that we can supply ourselves for almost everything in relation to the agro products. So that is what we are asking the member states to have a look and have a good discussion and see on how we can cooperate each other, and then we have to use the potential that we have. We have a water body potentials huge, so that we can use them, and then we produce together as a regions. That is the thing that we think we can share together, and then we can. But otherwise, if everyone has to consider his own interests and the profitability without looking the bigger picture of the East Africa, we're still suffering whenever there's any slightly changes in supply chain in the market of the world. For example, right now we don't have the fertilizers, but we have the potential to produce the fertilizer in the country. Sometimes the Tanzania is importing almost 65% of the seed from outside the region, outside the East African regions, but we can produce it in East Africa. So this is the area that I think we need to cooperate together as a region, and then if you want to make our East Africa economy stronger and stronger. Actually, the East Africa is among the strong regions in economic region in Africa. If you look at the ECOWAS, you look at the SADC, you look at but East Africa it's very historical and it seems very strong. But we can make it grow bigger and bigger and stronger if we are going to have that kind of collaborations. For example, right now the Congo DRC is now a member of East Africa. You look at the potential that the DRC has, but if we cannot make an environment of which we can sit together and discuss the potential that we have and discuss on how we can exploit the potential that we have. We will have the potentials, but we cannot use them. We will still be very poor people. I mean, depending on the importation from different countries, from outside regions. Right now, for example, we are depending 100% importation of the wheat. The wheat that we are consuming in East Africa, we are importing from the Ukraine. We are importing from, but we have all the potential to produce the wheat in the regions. So I think we have to think on how we can discuss and see what should we do so that we can utilize. For example, Tanzania can supply the cooking oil from the sunflowers. We have all the potential to produce a lot of cooking oil in the regions. But how do we collaborate to make sure that we are producing this? If we are going to have a very good collaboration in future, especially in production of the inputs, and organize well our internal market, I mean as a regions, I think whenever economic shakes happen around the world, its effect, especially in agriculture, is going to be very low. But as we are standing today, depending on the importation, we are importing the thing that we can be able to produce. Whenever there is a shake, like what is going on right now, actually we are going to harm our economy very, very, very much. So that's the issue I can say about that. I urge our the colleague in East Africa, and also even the PSO from the East Africa, we need also to collaborate together. Cultural Council of Tanzania, I think there are the same councils in Kenya, and like right now we have through the Cultural Council of Tanzania, we have initiated the establishment of the East Africa, like East Africa councils of, to discuss issues pertaining the agriculture, livestock, and fisheries together. So that's the issue, that's the move that we think we have to go on. Yeah.